All right, let's talk about the project specifications for Project 1. I'm going to step you through the process here on the first demo just so you understand how it's going to work, and then I'm not going to do that part of it anymore. We'll just jump right into the specs. But for getting started here, the first thing you'll do when I send you the announcement about the project being assigned, you will go to the class website, right, Matt? 155.ning.com. Okay. And you will go to the forum, to the appropriate project. In this case here, we're going to go to project number 1, the alphabet study. Okay. And there you'll find a whole bunch of discussions on every project. And this one, it's a short little project, so there's really only one little lecture notes issue. So you click on that, and that will tell you to go to the online resources. The online resources are essentially all the video and the video lectures and demos and samples and reviews and everything else. Okay, so you'll see here the class website, right? Getting started, and each project will light up as it is assigned, right? The link will become active. In this case here, project number 1. And it will load up a bunch of links on the left, and the content will be here on the right. And so in this case, what we'll do is we'll start with the project specifications. That's always the first link in the project resources. So we will click on that, and bingo, it pops up into the right window. The goal of the project is to, develop your awareness, right? We talked about that in the first lecture. So you're going to review all of this stuff here in the online resources here, and you'll pay. This link will go to that. You're already going to be here, but just in case you get to the link from my website itself, this will jump you over to here. Okay, so that being said, you're going to find a typeface that has the characteristics of one of these type classifications. You'll find all the information you need about identifying the qualities and the characteristics of these classifications here. Okay, so find a cool typeface that fits one of these classifications. It has to fit the classification. I don't want you doing any weird display fonts or script fonts, definitely not script or italic. Those typefaces have different qualities about them, and we're really concerned primarily with the regular weight of a given typeface. So you can select your typeface from your computer, or you could do a search for best typefaces of all time. And then you get, kind of a list of little typefaces here, and these are all considered great typefaces. So if you're wondering what a great typeface is, you might run with one of these. You can't go wrong. They're definitely awesome typefaces. So you're going to need some materials for this particular project. You're going to need some graph paper. 1-inch squares are good with either 1 to 4 or 1 to 5 increments. In other words, 4 increments per 1 inch or 5. Okay. You'll need a mechanical pencil of some kind. And you'll need a scanner or a phone cam. You'll need a mechanical pencil. You'll need some graph paper. Okay, so what you're going to do then is you will type out the letter forms. Okay, so you can use something like Microsoft Word, and that'll be fine. So once your type is selected, you want to do it at least 1 inch tall. And it could be a little bit larger, but 1 inch is good. And what you'll find is that people say, 72 pixels per inch, 72 points per inch. Not really true anymore, because the resolutions of screens have gone way up. It's really more like 96 pixels per inch or 96 points per inch. Okay, we'll get into the points thing in a little bit. Right now, we're just kind of talking about overall scale. So what you want to do then is you want to type up your alphabet and take a look at all of the letter forms. So you'll go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and so on, right? So once you have your entire alphabet all typed up, you're going to look for 2 letter forms. You're going to look for 7 letter forms and 7 letter forms that have similar characteristics. So for example, the E and the F, obviously some similar characteristics. O and C, similar characteristics. So you're going to identify 7 letter forms and 7 similar letter forms, and you're going to comp those 7 letters, okay, and their complements, if you will. You'll do that in both upper and lower case, okay? Okay, so at first you might want to trace it. This is where the graph paper can come in handy, and so you'll want to scale it. So actually, what we want to do first is we want to print the alphabet 8.5 by 11. Okay, it might be a little bit. You might go 2 pages if you go with a larger size. I wouldn't go much more than 2 inches per height for the letter form. It just starts to get a little bit, a little big and kind of unwieldy, if you will. It's easier to draw at a slightly smaller size. So you'll print it all out, the whole alphabet, upper and lower case. You will then trace that alphabet just to practice. So pick your 7 letters and then trace them just to kind of get a feel for it. And then you're going to draw the letter forms freehand, okay? This is, again, where the graph paper comes in handy, because what you'll be doing is something like this. Okay, so here's your letter forms to start with, and then these are the comped letter forms, okay? This is what's known as your X height, and this is what's known as your cap height. Okay, again, we'll get a lot more into detail on that in the next project, but for now, that's all you really need to know. Okay, so then when it's all said and done, although this is the actual alphabet, you'll just have your 7 letters and their 7 complements, but this is what it'll look like when you're all finished drawing up your letter forms, okay? These are the things that you want to be aware of, okay? So you're going to be looking for things like the details on the point on serifs. You're going to be looking at the curvature of the letter forms. You're going to be looking at the quality of, this is what's known as a spine. You're going to be looking at the quality of the serif. How long is it? You're going to be looking at the little curly Q of the ear. Okay, so these are little details that you want to become aware of as you start to play around with drawing these letter forms up. Okay, and so then this is basically what a comped version would look like of multiple typefaces. And you can see that these are free-handed, right? So there's a lot of weird little things that are wrong with the thicknesses, the contrast between the thin and the thick, the stroke and the hairline. So some letter forms are easier to draw than others, like that kind of A, that's pretty tough, right? Whereas a regular uppercase A, well, a little bit easier, right? But then you throw some serifs in it and that gets a little bit more complex, right? So, I mean, if you really wanted to go off, this is what you would do if you were really comping the letter forms, but we're not, okay? But if you want to, you certainly can, but this is not really required, but it shows the level that you can run to in order to get these letter forms to look cool. All right, so what you'll do then is you will, I gotta fix that. That's for the online class. What you will do then is you will take your drawings and you will either scan them or you will take a picture with your phone. And if you take a picture with your phone, put the paper flat on the desk and then put the phone right up above it, right square above it, so that the image is square in the frame, not tilted, or something like that, right? So you're shooting square straight down at your graph paper. Take a picture of it, and then you'll upload those images to the server. I'll talk about that a little bit more later in a separate lecture. Okay, so that's essentially the story. That's the specifications, and of course you can always refer to this if you need to refer back to the details. All right, all righty, kids, have at it.